Jamil Jaffer is founder and executive director of the National Security Institute, joins us now. Jamil, it's always good to have you on. Thanks for being here.
James, thanks for having me.
What do you think the level of success so far has been here in the few hours you've seen Zelensky delivering this message? We know what he wants. We know how critical it is for his country. Has he been able to make an impact thus far?
Well, you know, it's hard to know because the debate on Capitol Hill is less about Vladimir Zelensky himself or the merits of the Ukrainian cause, but it's about whether the president has an effective plan for really getting this aid delivered to Ukraine and then being successful in this long-term fight. This war has gone on for now a year and a half. There was an expectation that this would either be over really fast with the Russians winning, which of course has been a good thing for us that wasn't the case. But now the challenge is, why aren't we giving the Ukrainians what they need to really succeed and succeed immediately rather than stretching this out? We've already spent about $75 billion. Now another $24 billion potentially out there in a combination of security assistance and humanitarian aid, right? Republicans are skeptical. That's the challenge the president and Zelensky both face on this request.
I actually want you on this subject of skepticism to listen to Josh Hawley, who spoke to reporters a little while ago and illustrated some of this hesitancy from Republicans about the billions that the U.S. has already sent to Ukraine, and we'll talk about it once he speaks. But here's Josh Hawley first.
I'm not in favor of additional Ukraine funding, particularly not without any real oversight. It just amazes me that we can't have an inspector general to actually track where the money is going.
I mean, I think that argument makes a lot of sense to a lot of Americans, Jamil. Does it make sense on an international security stage?
Yeah, look, absolutely. We had special inspectors generals for Afghanistan, for Iraq. There's nothing wrong with an inspector general for this aid, but let's be clear. The aid is critically important. We're going to spend a total, if this package is met, of about $100 billion. We're going to wear down one of our key adversaries in the world, Russia, in this fight in Ukraine. That's a win for the United States. It's a win for national security policy. So skepticism, reasonable. Appropriate controls and restrictions and specifications like an inspector general, excellent. Cutting the aid off, terrible idea.
How about the distraction right now on Capitol Hill? Because while Zelensky is trying to push for this aid, the government's going to shut down soon if Capitol Hill can't come to some kind of agreement on how to fund the government. Does that get in the way potentially of even considering aid?
Absolutely. It's completely an issue. But the challenge, of course, is that we're not finding a middle ground here, right? Republicans reasonably want spending cuts, right? We're spending in an excessive way. Inflation is still a challenge for the economy. The idea that we're going to spend our way out of inflation is ridiculous. At the same time, the president keeps seeking more and more money, not just for Ukraine, but for a variety of other purposes as well. And so there's got to be a middle ground here where we get our budget under control, we stop deficit spending the way we have, and start paying down some of this debt so we're not putting this on the back of our children and the taxpayers. And so I think this is a reasonable fight to have. Shutting the government down, though, not a good idea either. Not good for the American economy, not good for the American taxpayer. We've got to find a middle ground here. The problem is both sides are dug in way too deep.
Big picture, if Ukraine doesn't get this additional aid from the U.S., what could happen?
Look, I think the long-term consequences are disastrous, right? The Russians will start to succeed more and more. They'll put more money into the fight. This war will go on further. More civilians will die. And ultimately, if the Russians do succeed, all that does is embolden them to come after NATO nations, right? And embolden China in its conflict with Taiwan. We in the West and Europe have got to win this conflict. We've got to push the Russians back. If that takes money and that takes aid, we should do it, but we should give them what they need to win and not stretch this thing out the way the Biden administration has for the last year and a half.
Do you think it's going to come through, this aid?
I think ultimately it will, but again, the president has got to put forward a plan. There's a plan for the Ukrainians to win. At this point, it's not convincing the American people that the president even wants the Ukrainians to be successful because they're actually concerned about what the Russians will do if the Ukrainians are too successful. We've got to put that behind us and say, we've decided we're in with the Ukrainians. We'll give them everything they need, F-16s, M1 Abrams tanks, no more waiting, give them everything, let's win, let's get it done. If that happens, I think Republicans will be on board putting money into this fight and winning this conflict.
Jamil Jaffer with the National Security Institute, thank you as always, appreciate it.